So let me tell you, back in when I first started business online, I had no idea what I was doing for real. And niching, it has to be one of the worst and horrible ideas or advice ever, because I'm telling you, I was listening to everybody's success, especially since I had the skill already. All right. I already had some skills. I could build and design websites back then, and I did that for people. So I had like a service based business, not even really understanding what it was called or known back in the day. So we talking about 1996, 97, right? So we going way back to where it was just HTML before CSS was even a thing. So I had the skill. People needed the skill at the time. And so they hired me to build their websites for them. Simple. Okay. But what blinded me was that anyone and everyone start learning how to code. All right. They started learning about HTML, CSS, then software came out like Dreamweaver, and it just took over. Right. And then we start having drag and drop options and things like that. But my skill became a commodity at that point. I didn't really know about branding. About a lot of people back in the day were trying to hide themselves. They weren't putting their faces online, as their icon and things like that. So I was on a mission. So I invested heavily in myself. Like I started purchasing courses on digital marketing. I have 4 master certs in that, and start copywriting and buying all these books. I remember one time I spent like $5,000 in a year in just books on copywriting and advertising, Facebook courses I took, sales and funnels and all kind of things, right? So that way I can better myself and grow my business, right? But honestly, not I didn't see much success from those endeavors back then. But I learned a lot. Okay. I learned a lot, not just about business, but also about myself. But the main thing everyone of those courses taught me was to niche down. That's what they were all basically saying. Go narrow, go narrow. Like, one, I had to identify a starving market. I had to break it down to a sub market. And then I had to narrow it in on niche market, however you want to pronounce it. That was it. I thought I found it. Found the secret sauce. Okay. Just niche down, sis. That's all I got to do. This is still the regurgitated advice you hear so many people talking about today. And this is the main thing that confuses people the most, and it keeps them from moving forward, really, because they're trying to stick themselves into a box, and that's not even human nature to be in a box like that, right? They feel like if they don't pick a niche that's not good enough, then they will fail and lose money, and all of these different worries come to mind. The majority of people are scared to lose, period. Basically, they're scared to fail, in other words, aka. And so they spend their time bouncing from one idea to the next idea. And I was very, very guilty of that. And I mean way off ideas. 1 minute I'm doing digital or web design. Next minute I'm in network marketing, doing healthcare products and things like that. Like I'm literally like bouncing, not in the same area, but in different areas completely. Now, learning the skills for that particular niche, not a bad thing, but that might not, you might not like it, and then you end up with no money or leverage to show for everything that you've done, right? Now, that's definitely a bad thing. But personally, I'm a rebel. I like to challenge the norms, go against the grain, and question everything, right? I always thought in my mind, why can't I do this? I like this. This is me. It's who I am. And it's like I wanted like to express my interest in all the different areas, right? So like I like to make the impossible possible. What people think can't happen typically happens. That's because they never really questioned it. I do this because most people dive into things without question. They think, oh, that's the way it's supposed to be done. And they don't really question why is it done that way, right? they accept them as being law without question. Like, it's this story I was told about a woman. She was newly married, newlyweds, and she was getting ready to cook Thanksgiving dinner for her husband. So she cut part of the ham, the butt of the ham, before she put it in. So her new husband said, "Why did you cut the ham?" She said, "I don't know. My mama do it." So one day they go over there, and the husband asked his mother-in-law, "Why do you cut the butt of the ham?" And her mother said, his mother-in-law said, "Well, that's how my mama did it." So then they come across and see the grandmama. So then the new husband asks his grandmother-in-law, "Hey, why your daughter and your granddaughter, why do y'all cut the butt of the ham?" You know what the grandma said? She said, "Well, I always cut my butt of my ham because my pan ain't long enough." It ain't that the ham needed to be cut. It's just that she cut it because the pan she wasn't using didn't fit the whole ham. Now, see, nobody asked no questions about why she did it. They just repeated what she did, not even knowing why, right? Knowing that it didn't need to happen. And that's how people go about doing business online. Some people, or anything in life for real, they just do things without question. So yes, sometimes you may get results from that. I mean, even with the cutting of the butt of the ham, she still cooked some ham. Might not have been the whole ham, might have been some ham. But hey, she didn't cut half the ham was cooked and half the ham went to waste, right? But she could have had the whole ham. All right. She got a little something, but could have had the whole something. And that's the same thing. When you start questioning what's going on and what you're being told by these so-called gurus, then you're able to put into play, yeah, you might be getting a little something, but you could be missing out because you're not asking the right questions. Or you're not questioning it at all. You feel like, oh, it works, this works, I'm going to stay right here. And you're not giving yourself the opportunity to grow. And it's because of that. A lot of people stand firm in that belief, not really knowing or being open to knowing if there's a better way. And there's always a better way. You just got to know what that is. And that's the hard part. Now, this business world has changed dramatically with the rise of digital products, social media, everything else. There's a difference between the way we attract customers now. Consumers are more educated and more aware now. The same methods don't work no more because they are used to those, right? And most of the things people are telling you to do is outdated at the end of the day. But they are just telling you what worked for them because they started earlier. So those processes worked for them. So keep that in mind. What they are saying isn't law, though. Okay, it's always a better way to do things. And believe it or not, you are the infinite niche. That's why everybody is so stuck on building a personal brand. But a lot of people don't even know what building a personal brand is in and of itself. And I feel like the best way to build a personal brand is to be intentional about who you are and what you like and the things that you're interested in. And I think you should explore the things that you're interested in and explore those things out in public too. Like me, right? I'm more informal. I'm down to earth. I mean, I can sit down and talk formally, but that's not my laid back natural self. My laid back natural self likes to, I'm a nerd. I like tech. I like graphics. That's what I do. And I like to learn a lot. Like I read more than I watch TV, but that's me. And it's different from the crowd that I hang around. A lot of people don't do. Actually, I think I'm the only one that do what I do. But that's why I have communities online and I have online business besties that are like-minded. Because sometimes you grow up in an environment or around a crowd that is not into the things that you're into, or you might be into things that just is way out there to them. Like the things I do is kind of way out there compared to the people that I'm around. Like extra nerdy, right? So, but that's the things I like. And I feel like you should be yourself. So when you can overlap your skills and your interests, you can then focus more on just being your best self. And then you're in a category of one at that point. because you're being unique, you're being true to who you are, and being a category of one has pros and cons, just like anything else. Except the pros outweighs the cons because you're a human being. Human beings are multidimensional. Not one person is just one thing. So their moms, their dads, their brothers, their cousins, and they play a different role to each and every one of those titles. And they might like football and like basketball, but they also might like eating ice cream and different types of things because we are human beings and that's just human nature. So we need to look at our digital products and our businesses in a more humanized way, right? So that's why I pretty much go broad. I like to work with digital product creators. Now, digital product creators can expand. That can be e-commerce because it can be Etsy shops that's downloading digital products. But what digital products? They could be templates. They could be graphics. They can be printables. They can be planners. They can be print on demand. I do it all. This is print on demand, right? I designed it. It's print on demand. I wish you could see the back. But yeah, it's print on demand. I have books. I have things. I have over 40 books on Amazon, like low content. I got so much stuff, right? So many graphics because I've went across all of those different types of realms because those are the things that interest me, right? But let me talk about a little bit of these pros and the cons. See, you can do what you enjoy, okay? When you are a brand of you, you're not confined to talk about solely one topic all the time. Okay. Like I said in my bio on my YouTube, it gets bipolar around here because I talk about a variety of different things, but what I do talk about all relates to online digital product business. Okay. Or I'm sharing with you this, but again, this is still about building a digital product business, but allowing you to know that it's okay for you to go broad. Okay. Because that one client might need more than one type of digital product, right? And you can get to explore all your interests without worrying about a niche. I'm not even worried about a niche no more. I just do me. And me is digital products, courses, memberships, anything digital. Okay, that's me. Even print on demand, even though that's physical, but the graphic to make the print on demand is digital. I don't have to do the printing part, right? I'm just making the graphics, again, just digital, right? And you will be more relatable to other human beings because people are multi-dimensional, if I can speak, right? So you can build trust and people get to know all sides of you. They get to know what you're like and not just the facade like a YouTube or, people be catfishing and, have an online persona and their online is not true to who they are in real life. Well, IRL, I am who you see right here. I talk the same. I do the same thing. Not unless I'm in a business meeting and I'm actually business on, right? Business mode on, but when I'm in my element, like laid back, doing my thing, this is what you see is what you get. And then you get to build a reputation over time. Now it takes longer when you're building a brand of you. When you're not niching and you're going broad, it takes time to build. And it doesn't happen as quickly as it would if you would niche. And that's why I believe they say the niche, because they're looking for the fast, quick thing. But I'm all about the long haul, right? I like to build relationships with people. I like to talk to people, and things like that. Now, the trust factor starts to become a deeper level when you get to know people on a more deeper level, of course. So people function with you because of who you are. And that's how I like it. I like for people to function with me, to join my memberships, to take my courses, people that like my vibe, like the way I deliver, right? And they trust me as a mom, as a person, as a human being, as a person that has some ethical standards, right? And you can always evolve and pivot when you're a business of one, right? When it's just you can be like, you can tell your audience, I disagree with that. I used to think that was okay. But as I've learned, because we all learn and change our minds or learn something new and be like, oh, we didn't know that before. Kind of that saying, if I knew then what I know now, it'll be a lot different, right? So a lot of people in your business, this is a journey you're going on. So it's things that you didn't know in the beginning that you know later, and then you change your mind. Okay. And it's okay to do that. And it's okay to say that, because people like you change your mind too. You probably look at things a little bit different than you did before. And you probably be saying to your kids, to your family, to your friends, hey, if I would have known then what I know now, baby, it'd have been a whole different ball game, right? That's because we lived and we learned. Same thing with business. We live and we learn. So then we come back and tell you what we learned and be like, look, don't do that. If I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't do that. Okay. But we did it in the past because we thought it was the thing, right? So people change their mind, and you get to change your mind, and you can always evolve and pivot because you're growing, and you're going to go through them growing pains. And people like to do business with real people that's authentic and that really go through the struggle too, right? And it ain't all peaches and cream when you run a business. There is peaks and there are valleys, baby. And I mean, them valleys get low sometimes, and it puts you in stress mode. And that's why a lot of people are changing business models these days, because they're tired of starting from zero every month, like your girl right here. So you just got to ask yourself, how many things are you interested in? How many people do you follow? Think about that. You probably follow a gang of different people that do a lot of different stuff, right? So it's okay for you to do that. It's okay for that to happen, all kind of things. So I just want to let you know that niching has to be the most horrible advice ever in the world. Do you, boo? Don't worry about niching. Just be yourself, do what you like, but do it with intention. Now, I have a workshop coming up, the 2025 HerMpire annual workshop that's coming up, that's laying out my whole entire business for next year. Oh my God, it was so like a weight, a relief when I was able to sit down and really plan out my stuff. And now it's out of my head. It's the best thing next to sliced bread. So if you want to be a part of that workshop, definitely go to my website, dwillis.com. I will put the link in below. Be a member. You got to get a membership. You got to be in a membership. You got to be in my community. So that way you can attend that workshop. But it's coming up later this month. Okay. At the end of November, after Black Friday. So it's a Black Friday special thing going on. So just make sure you get on one. If you're not already, get on HerMpire Diary Letters. Get on that, because you'll be notified in email if you get on my email list. Or you can just become a community member, because I just opened up the new community. I know you've seen the video. The last video was about that community. But yes, it's awesome. It's going to be awesome. I am putting all my trainings over there. And that's where I'm going to be spending most of my time. So if you want to vibe with your girl on some Q&As, live Q&As, get on the Zoom with me, then of course you want to get in the community so you can make it happen. All right. See you in the next video.